Hi, I'm Sue Greenwald with Awakened Stories, and I'm here today with Tracy Davies. Hey, Tracy, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. So Tracy is in Australia, and she is a Jedi friend of mine. And how long have you been with the Jedis now? A few
Oh gosh,
years.
probably yeah, about 5 years,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
5 years.
So, I mean, I kind of have seen you and know who you are, but this is the first time we're actually talking. So this is
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
yeah.
So we're talking today about how Tracy became awakened. And when I say awakened, I really mean more spiritually awakened. Of course, we're in the same Jedi group, so we assume that most of the true Jedis are awakened. So I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about your background and kind of how you grew up and, some of your life stories, if that's
Of
okay.
course.
Um,
Yeah.
so when you were a kid, did you have any, unusual experiences or whatever that you can remember?
I didn't personally like my childhood was pretty much the norm
Yeah,
for kids.
yeah, yeah,
I didn't have any of the, epiphany moments
yeah.
as a kid. I do recall my mum though,
Oh,
seeing a few ghosts, that kind of thing. A few relatives that passed away would make their presence known in the
okay.
house, like visually. Um, but myself, I was pretty normal kid. I
Yeah,
didn't really have any moments where I'd go, oh,
yeah,
gosh,
right,
looking for something more in the spiritual realm. Like
right.
I was, I did believe in God. I believed in Jesus. But we weren't church going people. Like, we didn't do any of that stuff.
That was my
So
next question. So were your parents like, were they really strict with the religious upbringing, or were they kind of a little more casual? Um, Letting you go to church should there be a holiday or whatever or something special, or how was that handled in your household?
I don't know if it's worldwide, but like Holy Communion, we did Holy Communion as children. We went. Only like I've got three brothers, so it was my older brother and myself. And as the years went on and we went down, it was less and less of that thing happening. So
Right,
I did it. My older brother did it. Um, but then we just didn't do anything beyond that.
right, right.
We
Okay,
started off, yeah, with a
okay.
basis, and I always believed, but yeah, we were
Yeah.
never going to church.
So you had a Catholic upbringing then?
Yeah.
Okay. So they kind of took you to that little school where you learn all that stuff. You had the ceremony and then it kind of tapered off, it sounds like.
Yes, yes. We started off as 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds going to
Yeah,
Sunday
yeah,
school.
yeah,
Uh, it was just that I think that the era, that's what
yeah.
everyone did. You just
Right.
did that as you got on. But as it got, through this was the 70s.
Yeah.
So as you moved on to the 80s, things became less and less, church based in that way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, I do. Well, people get, it's hard when you've got kids, especially four of them in your household, and you've got to get them all ready for something. It's hard. And especially
Yeah,
when you all have to be there at the same time, it's hard, you know.
yeah. And we were sort of on the not the black sheep of the family, but we were sort of more on our own, in regards to, you know, growing up together with other
Right.
um, siblings, like other cousins and that kind of
Cousins. Yeah.
thing. We were just out on the side, so
Yeah.
um, yeah, we didn't have that family influence to do anything as a group.
All right. So when you were around the household, did your parents like talk about God and religion at all, or not really? It
No,
was just like the regular parent stuff.
yeah, like my dad's brother, my uncle, he was studying to be a monk. Um, so we had that really big extreme, and it was great to talk about, but it didn't influence anything
Right.
for us to continue on.
Right.
But we were
Right.
Catholic. We went to scripture at school, but nothing progressed from there
Okay.
at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah. So when your mom saw these ghosts or experienced these ghosts in the household when you were a kid, Like, was there discussion about it? Like, were they curious or were they afraid? Or how was that handled?
Mum, I think it was only through trauma. So when trauma happened, she
Yeah.
saw something, um, it was discussed at the time and then just put away, put
Okay.
aside
Yeah.
and not talked about later.
Right.
It was well, it was just that we were never a deep family. Like things just stayed fluffy, you know.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we just played sport. Sport was a big thing, and being a lot of brothers.
Yeah.
That's all that really happened in our household. We didn't do anything to progress on any other level other
Right.
than sporting and
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
nothing else. So I don't have, wonderful, great memories to go, right, that happened and,
Yeah.
and things were happening. We
Right.
just really lived day to day as children and
Right.
that was it.
Right. And there's
Was it.
nothing wrong with that. And again, think from the parent's standpoint, especially with three boys, trying to get them all like doing the same thing at the right time. Oof. But I wanted to find out kind of how your parents influenced your belief system and all of that. So it sounds like you pretty much always believed in at least Jesus and God. Um,
Yes,
and
I had that fear. I had I think a fear base. Like I always knew they were there, but when like in the 80s when they had the time of nuclear war threats
yeah,
and war, and I always had that feeling that something more like was coming, fear
yeah,
based coming.
yeah,
And like 1999, something was going to happen
right,
globally or
right.
something like that. So I always had that worry, but always know, but I always knew that they were there at the same time. Like it was a
Yeah.
funny state to be in, you know, happy, that God is real and Jesus is real, but worried that I'm actually going to see them, and oh gosh, the world's going to end, and I'm going to,
Yeah,
be ending up in
yeah,
that heavenly state, and just fear based, I guess.
yeah.
That's all we sort of
Well,
lived with.
there has been a lot of fear, and when I was a kid, we had the nuclear war fear. Okay, so there were a lot of shows about how bad the Russians were, and they were going to. I don't know
Yes,
about you, but they were going to take America over, and we were always afraid. And we had those drills in the school, and all of that.
yeah,
So there was a lot of fear about that. And I remember
yeah,
discussion about the wars and all of that. And then when I got older, there were a lot of shows out about the ETs, right? The aliens were going to
mm,
come and they could walk through walls and they could be invisible and they could, just abduct you out of your house. And,
yeah,
you know, that was scary to think about, And my family, we talked about, well, my mother didn't, but the rest of
yeah,
us
yeah.
would sit and talk about the aliens a lot. And
Wow,
especially, we had a summer house and we had a little fire pit. We would sit out there every night talking and looking up at the stars and talking about that. So, not that I was always fear based, but I can remember I'd see a couple shows and movies, and I would lay in bed afraid. Like, what if I'm paralyzed and the aliens come and get me and I can't scream? Stuff, stupid
wow,
stuff like
yeah,
that. But I was
yeah,
younger.
yes,
But there
yes,
was a lot of fear about that, and you're just hoping that that doesn't happen to you at the time, right?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I was more, with the aliens, like when that show V was out, that was a big
Yes.
thing. We were
Yeah.
children, but you
Yeah.
never thought that it was actually real. What you know now, you never
Right.
look back and go, oh gosh, what if that happened? It was just like a fun joke to do
Right.
amongst all your friends,
Right. Yeah.
not be.
In my household, we were science fiction maniacs. So I did see the original series, and then I think they redid it again, 10, 20 years later. And of course, now we know that it's true.
Yeah, yeah,
But at the
yeah,
time, it was really scary to think about because it was like something you had no control over, you know?
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You'd never
Yeah.
dreamed it'd be like, I don't think we'd be ready to know that that was
Yeah.
real back then
No.
to now.
I think probably with the advance of the internet And, like there's more books out about it, but there's more videos and YouTube and all of that. It's really helped us share information more easily and readily. And of course, we've all got phones with cameras
Yeah.
now. So we're seeing video of unusual things, the UFOs in the skies, ETs on the ground, and just unusual creatures. So that
Right.
helps the average person believe a little bit more easily, I think. Um,
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely. It's
yeah,
so you'd have to be blind not to see it. Like you have to be really turning the other way
right,
not to see it
right,
because it is so prevalent in
right,
everything.
right.
You have to consciously make that decision. I don't want to know. No, no, that's not true. That's not right. And just turn away because
Yeah,
you just, how can you not see it?
yeah.
That's the thing now.
Well, I wonder that too because, like, this morning, like let's say 7 in the morning, I took a picture out of my bathroom window of a giant couple of spaceships over
Yeah.
Sedona, right? Giant. And I've put things like that out there, and people don't believe that's what they are. They're like, well, they're just perfectly rounded clouds
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
it might
Right.
be. And it just shocks me that there's still doubters out there. And of course, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I mean, I can walk outside almost every day and see unusual things here.
Oh,
It's,
totally. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Sedona, you'd be living in the miracles all the
yeah,
time. Like
yeah,
you'd see everything. That's same with me. I went out yesterday or the day before, straight out my front door, looked down the street, up in the sky, exactly that
right,
perfectly shaped cylinder ship.
right,
And
right.
immediately I went straight away. Yeah, that's a ship.
Yeah,
And I'm sure there's no one I know, no one I work with, none of my friends, nobody is on my
right.
wavelength in regards
Yeah,
to any of
yeah,
that. So,
yeah,
but you just can't not see it. Like I
yeah,
look out and go, yeah, immediately.
yeah,
And I'm very fortunate that my husband and daughter are on the same wavelength. So at
exactly.
least we have each other, which
Yeah.
is good.
And you
Mm.
can talk about that openly in your home and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah. That's
definitely.
really it's a really beautiful thing when you can talk openly and uncensored, if you will, around your friends and family. Like I don't usually because it makes many uncomfortable or they think I'm crazy. But there's several friends I have that I can have these really deep conversations with, and it is like relief because we'll be talking about whatever, then it goes on to a certain topic, and I don't have to censor what I believe or what I've seen or what I think. And they usually have, corroborating information. It's very interesting, and I love those conversations.
Oh,
But
yeah,
there's only a few people I can do that with, you know.
yeah. My family don't. I don't think they believe what I tell them. Like they tolerate it,
Yeah,
um, but they don't totally like with the healings. I've healed them so many times,
yeah.
but they still don't believe that it's true. But my husband and daughter, like my husband especially, he's like you. Like he's had, he sees everything. He's
Ooh,
had that as a child, so he's like what I aspire
yeah.
to what I don't see, I get from him. What I don't know, I get from him. He he's amazing. Like he just sees, you know, he was a warrior. He is a warrior
Yeah,
in like previous lives, dimensionally now,
yeah.
constantly, and he's helped me progress. So I think,
That's awesome.
we've met each other so we can, come together and help each other to get where we need to get to.
That
Very
makes me feel
fortunate.
so good that you have that support system and that you both have different, like a different skill set. Like you might be a healer and he's the warrior in this case. And that's amazing, you know.
We have like we've because I've got one daughter, we've both got one daughter, so she's 16. So we have like because he's so intuitive and he gets a lot of messages and and knows a lot of things. Like he'll just be, taken, like he'll just be laying in bed and suddenly he's off in the clouds and, he does all these things. So he's the warrior, the defender, and I'm what he calls contact. So I contact and make the connections and do the healing and all that. And my daughter is elements. So she does all the creation, once we go out and do things, she'll create forests or help the animals and bring all the animals. So we've got this threesome where once, we all, the event happens and we move to our next reality. That's what we go as a package. So a
I
threesome.
love, I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, and especially being young, you're supporting her with, whatever her mission might be,
Oh gosh, yeah. She's like
Yeah.
a super commander. Like she
Yeah.
commands nonstop. We'll sit down and have something to eat. She's doing a command for the food. She'll be doing it like literally more than I am. So
Yeah. Yeah.
nonstop. Yeah.
So,
Amazing.
do your family, do they use the holotech products then, like the charms and the wands and
Yes.
really? Oh my
Yep. Yep.
God.
My husband's got he's got a Gen 2. We've got the stealth ones. We've got all the other
Yeah.
ones. My
Yeah.
daughter, we've got the R1, so she uses that um, to command with. She doesn't have a charm as such because we felt that she'd be maybe asking too many questions and it may not give her the right answers. Like, so whenever she wants to know something and we want to do a charm reading, then I'll do that. Just, yeah, well, we're just a bit concerned that she may just ask her a few different things, like, because she was questioning about her friends and, what are they really? Are they a Palladian? Or she was just delving down a little bit of you know,
Mhm.
an avenue we didn't want her to do, just in case she might find out things that she's not ready for. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just bought my granddaughter the unicorn necklace.
Yes.
And like whenever I go, like, and also she has one of the stealth wands. And so whenever I visit there, I bring mine and I bring my crystalline generator and she likes to tap them and she likes to run around the house. And I told her to sing and just wand everything in the house, wand all the creatures and blah, 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 which she does. And then I got her own wand. And so she had like a sore throat or something. I told her to wand her throat. And she may or may not know what she's doing. Doesn't matter, but it's just fun. And she's bringing the vibration of everything up.
Oh, absolutely. Just
Yeah,
watching the children do it just
yeah,
brings
yeah,
such joy to know, that they can take it on board and they
yeah,
understand, and they're so free. They're just
yeah,
free
yeah,
to be. There's no pre-existing, thoughts of,
yeah.
how
The
they should be doing.
programming. Yeah,
Yeah, they just do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because at that age, they haven't been programmed like, oh, you believe in unicorns, you believe in UFOs, you're crazy, and all of that. The
that's
peer
right.
pressure hasn't kicked in yet. So
Exactly.
when I went a few weeks ago, I brought several unicorn coloring books and sticker books, and that was our theme for the week.
Yes.
So
Yes.
anything with the unicorns, rainbows, or sparkles, the girls like. So I was just thinking if she got to see a real unicorn, she would lose her mind. All the
Yeah,
girls would lose their mind, right?
I would lose my mind. It'd be so amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it would be amazing. So tell me, let's kind of like fast forward. We've got kind of your background. Like, you married your husband. Did you know at that point that he had these experiences and all of that? Or was it further forward?
No,
When
I think we started talking about it at the time.
Yeah,
He used to always say, like, he wasn't completely sure about, what things meant for him, because he used to have visions. Like, he can't remember anything prior to being 6 years old. So he does not know where,
Mm.
when he was born, where he went. All he has is a memory from school
Wow.
and on. So
Wow.
something's happened to him previously. But when we met, he used to always talk about, he'd say he saw this thing in the sky that just all he can equate it to was a flying, when uh, Kentucky Fried Chicken used to have the Kentucky Fried Chicken box that
The
used to,
barrel. Yeah.
the logo
Yeah.
on top. He said all he saw something in the sky and it looked like a flying Kentucky. That's all he kept saying. It looked like a flying Kentucky. So that's when I first met him. We used to talk
Yeah.
about that. Oh, I just saw something looks like a flying Kentucky. The box just flying around. But
Wow.
now he's seen a few things in the sky and on because the internet is, so much now is on the internet. He's
Right.
seen what he has seen and can now relate to what he saw back then, going,
Right.
it was this. Like he's seen some, flying objects spinning, what other people have taken, recordings of, and now that's helped him. So going back to when we first met, so I wasn't, I couldn't say, oh, I've had this experience, I've had that experience, we can move on. We just talked about it and then just
Yeah.
left it at that
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just moved on.
Lived your life. Yeah. So tell
Yeah.
me
So,
how did you discover the Holotech products and Smarty? What what was that situation like and what attracted you to that?
so I never had like really living my life. I never had a direction. Like I never had something that I always knew I wanted to do. I was just rolling through, I took a job out there to another job, to another job. So I didn't feel like I had a purpose.
Mm.
So as I was probably when we moved up into the mountains, I and the internet, you're finding more and more things. I delved a little bit into Reiki and rune stones and the tarot and all of that kind of stuff. And then I progressed then through to finding out about the RV and your birth certificate.
Right.
As a few people had a little bit of information on their site. So the trail is leading you into
Right.
to a different direction. So then that path led me to someone who knew Smarty, who's Smarty. He's It was just a video of Smarty posting something. I can't recall exactly at
Right.
the time.
Right.
I
Right.
looked down and went, it was like an epiphany. That was an epiphany moment. They're going, this guy, like, he's laughing, he's swearing, this is Jesus. And I just went, yes, that's the guy for me. Oh, it was like, finally, I found him. I found, you know, that's what it all was leading to. Just that moment of clarity and excitement and just yes, that's the fear went straight away. I'm going, oh, thank you. I was so grateful, like just to know that, you know, it was what I wanted. It was what I needed him to be, you know. It was
Yeah.
jovial, it was just relaxed, it was just like the weight had been lifted, like, and I could just go, oh man, I was just so happy. And it was just, it progressed from there. We started, listening to him. We started then starting to get his products, and then my husband, I showed him, and then he gravitated, and we all just, it was just like it lifted us up, and we just progressed from there. It was
That's
amazing.
amazing. That's amazing. Now, when we do these Zoom calls or whatever, does your husband listen in?
No, because it's like he he, he doesn't follow Smarty as intently as I do, but we go parallel. So
Right.
he goes,
Right. Right.
we get the same information, but it just off different sources. So, but we'll
Right.
we'll come together. So we're going like this, but
Yeah.
we're leading in the same direction.
It's still
So
beautiful. Still
it is.
beautiful. Yeah.
And he wears Smarty products, and he
Yeah.
still does all of that. He just has a different way of getting
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
which is great too, because then what I don't know, um, he'll just give me information, and vice
Yeah.
versa. So we're just pulling each other along, which is still
It
great.
sounds like you're both filling in the gaps and you're like kind of a
Yeah,
perfect team.
yeah,
It's amazing.
definitely,
I love
definitely,
that. I love
definitely,
that.
because he's up there dimensionally, and I'm just out here, but we're still, he's still
Yeah.
saying, come on, and
Yeah.
where I need the uplift, he'll be there.
Yeah.
Mm.
So before you discovered Smarty, you were like, living life. Like, you didn't really have the theme of your life or whatever. You just
No,
lived.
we because we met on a ship. We worked both on a cruise ship, so we were on
Oh.
there for 2 years. So that love boat kind of issue. So yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah.
So then we progressed, then had a child. She was a preemie child, so she was born 3 months premature.
Ooh.
Um, so that in itself was like, oh man, why can't it just be easy? Like, you know, we've had a child and now it can't just be, you know, normal. I wanted just something normal. And then I couldn't have any more children after that. So it was like, we smothered her, but then we were trying to work out, all right, so I've got this child, 3 months preemie, what's going on? Obviously there's a meaning behind it. There's something there. Okay. So then moving on to about 2012, I read this book called Walking with Angels by Tony Stockwell. I'm not sure you've heard of it, but it was basically he just lives and sees angels walking around with him, and that moment too was an epiphany moment. Going, yes, like I was so happy with that.
Right.
That sort of moved me greatly. And then as we progressed again, That's when I started little bit by little bit working out. Okay, there's something going on. Something's giving me these little breadcrumbs to go in a certain
Right.
direction.
Right. Right.
Um, then I had the cancer thing, had
Ooh.
breast cancer at 2014. But without those things building me up, building what I needed to get me through that, like without reading that book, I wouldn't have known that I can get through this. I've got this life-threatening thing, but not for one moment, both having my daughter or cancer, that I thought any badness.
Right.
Like I
Right.
just thought, no, I'm going to get this. That's fine.
Right.
Moved on, and then Smarty was the next thing. So I moved to the mountains, met Smarty, and then life has just been great ever since. Nothing
Oh,
really untoward. Just progressing to the event, and
I
yeah,
am so happy to hear your story. Like,
yes,
I mean, you had some things that would, some people would really go down in a negative path. And
yes,
it, I guess maybe the book really strengthened your resolve. Like you knew that there was more, like there was more
yes,
than what we've been told, and there's more than what you're seeing. So you had faith. And I love that.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That faith, just not
Yeah.
for one second I ever thought, without
Right.
that, got
Right.
me got me through.
Yeah.
Mm,
And you had faith when your daughter was born prematurely. I can't even imagine that. And now she's healthy, I assume.
yep,
That's
yes.
amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
I know. I look at her and she's had nothing wrong with her from that birth. It was, I don't know. It was just a miracle, because she seems that she's meant for something great, and only having her, and her being preemie as well. We were not wrapped her in cotton wool, but we've not let her sort of out of our sight from that moment. I felt like a precious cargo that we've been given to get her to where she needs to get to.
Right.
So um, I think it was meant to be. So without that, we probably wouldn't be doing what we're doing now. So
Awesome.
she's destined for something. I don't know what it is yet, but
Yeah.
something wonderful.
Yeah.
Mm,
I feel like we're going to find out pretty soon, don't you? D-
yes.
Like it
I do.
feels like you see all this stuff in the news happening and all the drama and blah 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 blah. But doesn't it feel like things are shifting and changing and moving? And
It's definitely shifting.
yeah,
It's like it's all cracking.
yeah,
It's like the shell, and it is all cracked, and a few pieces are gone, and so it'll only take one more piece for it to just go shh,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we're there.
yeah.
We're there.
I can't wait. I shouldn't say it like that. I'm allowing the process. Ugh.
Yeah,
I am allowing the process and I want it done correctly, of course, and I want to help correctly, but I am very excited to have things moving
yeah.
along.
Oh gosh, yeah. It is
Yeah,
way too like
yeah,
we
yeah,
need to get that next, you know,
yeah,
just the moments for everyone to go,
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
finally, like just the relief, and to be able to, for the people that don't know what we know, that, you know, I want to see the relief for them, just to go, you know, it's going to be even better for them
I
than
do.
I think for us. We're going to be so amazing. But if you're such under stress and you don't know that light's there, and you don't know that this is coming for them and what's coming, and all you can see is darkness and clouds, and you
Yeah,
know yeah,
yeah,
desperation, that's
yeah.
just going to be crying nonstop.
There's so many people that I know that have got illness, injury, like a lot of crazy stuff in their life. And I'm just like, I can't wait to help them. Like,
Yeah,
there's a limit of what you can do at this point, of course. And, we're walking around with our wands and our charms and trying to do healing. And of course, doing all the right things. But it's like, I want to help in a bigger, bigger, bigger way. And
yes,
I think people need to see kind of like the contrast, like what could have happened and now what's going to happen. So
yes,
it's going to be big. It's going to be
it's
dramatic.
going to be big. It's going to
Yeah.
be so big. I just
Yeah.
cannot wait.
Yeah.
And for us, like, especially with my parents, for example, like I say to my mum all the time, just hold on, mum, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, oh, it's coming, it's coming. She's going, look, I don't want you to say it anymore, because until I see something, I just don't want to hear it anymore. Okay.
I think most of our family members are like that. It's like, wait, you've been seeing that for years. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, but this time I really mean it.
that's right. Exactly. It really is here. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like you have a little built-in support system at your home, which is amazing. And then, your family is aware kind of what you've been doing, but then you'll all be able to go out as like a team and help your family
Yeah.
members, your friends, and then, hopefully a massive amount of strangers.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just going to be the most wonderful
I
time
know.
to be
I
a
know.
human, to be alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
amazing.
why we all have our like we're envisioning what's going to happen and how it will look. None of us can really imagine that, I think, except a few people, but it's going to be like so different than we've been taught. We've been
Yeah,
taught all these mistruths, about how things are, how things happen. And it's going to be so great to see that proven wrong. I can't wait.
cannot wait.
Yeah.
It's just so overdue, I think, you
Yeah.
know, just to get rid of all the
Yeah.
darkness,
Yeah.
just everything that's keeping us, not
Yeah.
of our divinity.
Yeah.
Mm,
Exactly.
amazing.
Now, so basically, we're going to fast forward through your life, regular life. You read the book, I forgot the name of it already, about angels, which was
Yeah,
which
it's all
was
good.
which was super helpful. And like when about let's just say it was the 80s, I read every single book on near death experiences, angels, past lives. I mean, there was just a handful of them out there. There weren't a lot. But now
Yeah,
you go to a bookstore or, not that they have them anymore, but you look up that topic, there's thousands of books. It's so
Yes.
interesting, and it's so good that we have access to that. And of course, the videos. So we have access to more of the information and the stories from people, which broadens our, our thought process. It opens our mind more. Like maybe that thing could be true. And then we see video or we read something else that just supplements that. So it's very exciting that that's available.
Oh,
But that
absolutely.
gave you faith, which is so important. So you had the
Yeah.
support and faith as you went through your crises, and now you have a
Yeah.
good supportive family structure. And that just makes me feel so good. I can't even tell you.
I know, I know. You just want that
Yeah,
for everyone to be able
really.
to
Yeah,
know that whatever they go through, they
right.
can get through. We're never given anything we cannot handle. And it's that is so true when you, in retrospect, when you do look back on the steps that led to you
Yeah,
now, that you wouldn't have that if
right,
you go through that.
right.
Mm.
And whatever you make it through and you look back at, once you're through like the trauma part of it, like why me or blah blah blah, you realize how much stronger and smarter you are now than you were back then. And if you had the same situation today, you'd handle it so much easier and quicker. But that's how we learn. We have to learn. So
Yes.
it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So, for any new people to spirituality, oh God, I can't even talk. Spirituality, or like we'll call them belief systems outside the norm. Do you have any like tips or advice or what you might recommend for them?
I think that you've just got to want to look. You've just
Yeah,
there's so much out there that
yeah,
you've just gonna want to look.
yeah.
And going on Telegram and going through all of Smarty's
Right,
groups, source directives, I think that's it, the perfect start. And
right.
probably you won't want to go anywhere else once you get there, because
Yeah,
there's so much knowledge, there's so much
right,
you know willingness to help from everyone.
right,
You get help in every facet. You've got your healing group, groups to help find lost children that are
mhm,
that are missing, helping the animals,
right,
um, just any questions and answers. There's just
right,
so much there, that yeah, every question that you have can be answered, can be
yeah,
fulfilled, and I think
yeah,
that's the perfect place to start. Um, and meeting King
right.
Smarty, um, I,
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to
yeah,
go anywhere else, because he's
yeah,
so addictive and so loving, and his partner Queen Jasmine, just you want to be there. You've got
right,
to be there.
right.
It is the place to be.
I feel so lucky to have, met Smarty and, be part of these groups. And of course, to meet the other Jedis. Like I've got the support of the Jedi. So if I have a personal problem or a crisis that I can't handle myself or I need help with, I know they have my back. You don't
Yeah,
know the value of that, especially during what we're going through now. And, so there's a lot of
yeah,
big stuff going on. Like it's not all fun and games for everyone. We're not
yeah,
skipping through a field of daisies. There's battles going on for Earth as we speak and
yeah.
for humanity. And with we're strong when we're together.
Yes,
Yeah. So it's
yes.
beautiful. Yeah.
And it's great because there's, like as I said, I don't have that network of friends,
Right.
outside of the Jedi's, that want
Right.
to know and want to be part of
Yeah.
this. They're so blind
Yeah.
that you get all your help and you get all your support from the Jedi's. Like,
Right.
you don't see them, maybe not see them face to face.
Right.
That support is just insurmountable. It's amazing, and it
Yeah.
gets you through. It
Yeah.
really gets you.
Yeah. And even in the middle of the night, sometimes I'll need help and they're there. Of course, now we're worldwide. The Jedis are all over the world. So for those that are watching this that don't know, we follow King John Smarty. His website is smartiescorner.com, and that will be below here. And his company name is Holotech, and he creates healing jewelry and all of this that have healing frequencies. But more importantly, he's trained people that have, um, how would you say it? We've found him. We've been
Yeah.
led to him in some way. So he has created this training system on how to heal others, and we call ourselves Jedis. All right. So we are so lucky and so blessed to have found each other. We have the support of like-minded people all around the world. And and then Smarty does put all sorts of social and political information out on his site as well. So we are really looking at more truth than some of the truth channels. Like many of the truth channels are corrupted. And that's why, like, to me, it's not even worth my time to watch those videos or whatever, because I know 80% of it's not true anyway. So why not just save time and go to one source, which is what I'm doing. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Spot on. It is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we learn after you've been doing this for a while, you learn discernment as well. So I can watch or read something, and this isn't always, but half the time I'm like, not true. I
Yeah.
could tell the guy's got an agenda or whatever. Why waste time with that if they've got an
That's
agenda?
right.
Yeah. So
You do. You
we're
see it straight
lucky.
away. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, the shootings, or, some mass shooting, straight away,
Right.
what's going on, because
Yeah.
you just know
Yeah.
now. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's a wonderful feeling to know
Yeah.
um, truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and of course, the internet does help with that because we can, like with these mass shootings, we see the crisis actors, how they've
Exactly.
been in all of them and all of that. So, we've got more information than we did years ago. Rapidly, even in 10 years, it's been amazing the growth that we've seen with the internet and what's out there. It's amazing. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
there's so many more people than the general public are led to
Yeah.
believe they're
Yeah.
awakened.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are definitely the
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, are there any other tips or things you might recommend for others that might watch this?
I think just don't watch the news. Like, turn off the news, because that is so corruptible.
Right,
The television is so corruptible,
right,
and
right,
just go within. Like, just try and sit
right.
back and relax, and just get a bit of clarity and understand
Yeah,
what's going on. Don't
yeah,
just take for granted what you've been given by the mass
right,
media,
right.
because everything is about money with them. Everything is
Yeah,
about control.
right.
You've just got to just step back and just really see what the real picture is.
Yeah. There's always an agenda.
Yeah,
And so I don't know. For those that are watching this, of course, everyone's laughing and making jokes because the eggs are so expensive and chicken. So I don't know if people know this, but in the US at least, they went and they said there was avian flu at many of these farms. And they've actually gone in and killed the chickens on purpose to create these shortages and to drive the prices up and the whole ugly thing. They've done it with many industries, but I'm just using this as an example.
yeah,
So there's been a lot of jokes about how expensive eggs are and this and that. I've also experienced that myself. And yesterday I was out somewhere and there was a TV right above my friend's head. And I noticed a report come on and I smiled to myself when I saw it. And I said, here we go. And then it says the report was something like this. People are starting to, have their own chickens, but there's high danger of all these illnesses and injury with the chickens and these diseases and blah 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 blah. So you basically don't want to have these chickens and eggs of your own. You don't want to have your own. So I'm laughing to myself because there's always an agenda, and it's when you have the broader view you get to see it more. Of
yes,
course,
definitely.
yeah, so I didn't mention that to my friend. She's on the same page, but we were just talking about other stuff. I looked and I'm like, here we go. Fear,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And
So,
it's so obvious when you see it.
yeah,
Everything becomes obvious.
yeah,
You just need that one moment to go, oh gosh, how
yeah,
did I not see that?
Yeah.
Like all
Yeah.
my neighbors
Yeah.
are so close-minded. Like we were growing some vegetables in some foam boxes on our front yard because we've got a dog in our backyard and we couldn't put it in because he just chewed it up. The amount of you know, tension that put on the street. They were all walking past. What's going on? Why are you growing that? Like, what's in there? Like we were growing drugs or something. Um, we said growing like vegetables because we couldn't put it out the front. Or what are you growing? Have you like our street has an email group, so you have to put it to the group to say, all right, we want to grow this and see if it's okay with them that we're growing it. They're going, oh, you're not allowed to grow, simple like tomatoes or something. You can't just grow that. What if it attracts pests on the front yard? And really giving us a hard time because all we want to do is grow
Wow.
some vegetables on
Yeah.
the front yard.
Yeah.
But something because they listen to our media saying, not to grow this, not to grow that, because all it could contain this pesticide
Right.
or pest, so don't grow it. And they just go along with it. They don't
Right.
question it. Going,
Right.
you know, that's what everyone did back in the day.
Right.
Back everyone
Right.
grew their
Yeah.
own vegetables,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. It's just crazy how some people, just don't see the big picture.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, when the pandemic first started, one of the states, I think it might have been Michigan, I saw reports come up from there where they were banning the sale of seeds.
Oh yeah,
So you could not buy your seeds to grow a garden during the pandemic. That's like, that seems like an odd thing to ban, don't you think? Like, why would they do that? So
yeah.
like whenever I see anything, I question everything. And it's just the way my brain works. But yeah. So it's interesting what's going to be coming out in the near future though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Truth. You
Yeah.
can't stop it. You can't
Yes.
stop it.
Yes.
Everyone's going to know whether they want to or not, and that's
Right. Right. I'm excited about that too.
wow.
I am so grateful and happy for you that you've got a beautiful family and that you're all in the same place. It makes it so much easier when you're supporting each other. And I'm
Definitely.
very happy for that. So
Thank you. Thank
yay,
you.
yay. And I am grateful for the Jedis in this group because like
Yes.
they've been my rock during the past few years. Like I live alone and it's been lonely and all this fear and blah blah blah. So it's been great to have help. And a lot of times there's been unusual things happening and I have people to bounce off, ideas off of like what's going on now. Like I have my ideas, but sometimes they clarify them. So
I
yay,
know. And
yay.
it's wonderful how many new Jedis are coming on board and
Yes.
how many different ideas that they have. Like
Yeah.
it's wonderful. You think, oh yeah, you've been in it for a while and you get set in your ways and then
Yeah.
someone will come on board and you'll go, you know,
Yeah.
just what
Yeah.
they've done.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And what I found in my life is like, our brain works this way. Like we have this consciousness along with everybody else. But as you read the book or watch the video or hear this or whatever, have a conversation, it expands a little bit and more information comes in. It expands a little bit. It expands a little bit. And so we're starting to really grow our consciousness out there. And we're just at the baby steps of that. Can you
Yeah,
imagine what's going to happen in the next few years when we really have an expanded consciousness and we know that we're limitless and we know we can do these things? It's going to be mind
I
blowing.
know. I know.
It's going to be
It's
so
going to
exciting.
be
Yeah.
so wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Anything else we should say before we wrap up?
Um, no, I just want to thank everyone. Thank King Smarty for
Yeah.
all that he does for us. Like it's
Yes.
just never ending hard worker, just for our
Right.
survival and our growth
Yeah.
and just generosity. He's so giving with his time and
Right.
his knowledge. We're
Right.
so
Right.
grateful and love. Yes, and thank Daddy.
Yes.
Yes,
I am also grateful because, I've seen Smarty for a few years and I don't think I've ever seen him like cranky or like even, like even our questions are probably annoying to him because we're on
Mm.
kindergarten level compared to him. He's never lost his temper or whatever. He's always done things to help us. And that's
Yes.
his mission. So it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
We're
He's
lucky
so
to have, yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. I look forward to meeting you soon on the beach.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sue.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.